Subscribe now, because what you're about to hear isn't just another celebrity headline. It's a story of betrayal, surveillance, silence, and the kind of downfall that sends shockwaves through an entire industry. Jim Jones was supposed to be untouchable, the Harlem-bred street icon who transcended rap beef and industry drama to build his own empire. But all of that came crashing down the moment flashing red and blue lights lit up the night and Federal. Agents dragged him into custody like a scene from a movie, except this wasn't fiction. This was real. Real charges, real evidence, real consequences. The arrest happened fast, but the setup had been years in the making. Jim wasn't just caught in a random car stop. He was surrounded, boxed in by a federal playbook that's taken down entire criminal empires. The car reeked of weed before it even hit the shoulder. Officers claimed they saw it weaving, but that wasn't why they pulled it over. They were already watching. The moment they found cash, prescription pills, and 2 loaded firearms in that vehicle, it confirmed what they'd been building behind the scenes for months, maybe even years. But Jim wasn't just another rapper caught slipping. The headlines hit harder than anyone expected. Racketeering, money laundering, and conspiracy. That's not tabloid drama. That's federal warfare. And fans couldn't believe it. The first photo that surfaced, his mugshot, broke the internet. Not because he looked broken or scared, but because he looked calm, cold, almost amused. Like he knew this moment was coming. Like he was ready. And that's when the questions started flying. Was he set up? Who flipped? Who handed him over to the feds? And what happens now that the man who helped build Dipset is facing charges that could lock him away for decades? The answers start with surveillance. This wasn't a one-day sting. It was methodical. The feds had wiretaps, informants, financial, records, and strategic silence from people close to Jim. They built their case slowly, stacking evidence like bricks until the whole structure could come crashing down with one clean raid. And guess what? Jim Jones wasn't surprised. Because years ago, his name was already dragged into courtrooms and testimony transcripts. When Tekashi 6ix9ine pointed his finger and called him out as a member of the 9 Trey Bloods, the world didn't want to believe it. But the feds, they wrote it down, filed it, saved it, waiting for more. And more is exactly what they got. Jim's businesses, on the surface, looked successful. Clothing brands, cryptocurrency investments, real estate portfolios. But under scrutiny, the paper trail started raising eyebrows. Unexplained deposits, questionable partners, rumors of shell companies and offshore accounts. If you know how the feds operate, then you know. It's not the bullets that get you. It's the bank statements. And the feds follow the money like bloodhounds. They don't chase clout, they chase cash. And Jim's financial web looked tangled, enough to spark serious suspicion. That's when the snitch theory exploded. Because you don't get hit with federal racketeering unless someone on the inside is talking. These cases are built on betrayal. Somebody flipped, somebody close, somebody trusted. And now fans are scouring old interviews, past collaborators, and Instagram comments trying to figure out who sold Jim out. But what made everything more surreal was Chrissy Lampkin's silence. The woman who once proposed to Jim on national television went quiet. No comments, no posts, nothing. It was as if she vanished. But insiders say she was working overtime behind the scenes, calling lawyers, cutting ties, preparing her next move. And when she finally broke her silence with a cryptic IG post, "Stand by who you love in the storm," it set the internet on fire. Was it a sign of loyalty? A goodbye? A warning? The mystery surrounding Chrissy only deepened when people began to speculate whether she might have known more than she let on. Could she be protecting herself legally? Was she distancing herself to avoid being implicated? Or was she just trying to hold it together behind closed doors while everything fell apart? The theories ran wild, but the truth remained locked inside, whatever lawyer's office they were sitting in. Meanwhile, Dipset's legacy started to feel like it was hanging by a thread. Jim wasn't just some random rapper. He was a core part of one of hip-hop's most influential crews, alongside Cam'ron, Joel Santana, and Freaky Zeke. But with his name being dragged into RICO territory, everyone started wondering, who's next? Joel's already faced gun charges. Freaky Zeke had his own street issues. Cam'ron? The king of Harlem swag had managed to stay out of legal trouble for the most part, but rumors started spreading like wildfire that Cam had been pulled in for questioning, not as a suspect, but as a witness. And if that's true, it means the feds are expanding their scope. Because Cam'ron and Jim had years of history, money moved between them, deals were signed, shows were done, and every one of those contracts could become a breadcrumb for federal prosecutors. The streets started whispering. Did Cam flip? Did Cam warn him? Was Cam blindsided too? Nobody knew, but the silence from Cam was just as loud as Chrissy's. No tweets, no posts, just one word posted to his Instagram story: loyalty. And that one word sent fans into a frenzy. Was it aimed at Jim? At Chrissy? At the snitch? Or was it Cam trying to distance himself before he got caught in the crossfire? Because make no mistake, this arrest wasn't about one man. It was about the web. And Jim's connections stretch far beyond Harlem. Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, Rick Ross. If money exchanged hands, if deals were made, if anything can be tied back to questionable activity, those names could be pulled into the crossfire too. And if you think the feds won't chase clout when it leads to convictions, think again. Every high-profile name adds leverage to their case. But Jim wasn't rattled. That mugshot said it all. No fear, no panic, just stone-cold confidence. Was it real? Was it calculated? Maybe he thought his lawyers could beat the case. Maybe he had an exit plan. Or maybe he was just masking the fact that everything he built was about to collapse. Because now we're at a crossroads, and there are 3 ways this story can end. Option 1, he takes a plea deal, cuts his losses, avoids trial. That might mean naming names. And if that happens, the dominoes will fall fast. Option 2, he fights it, goes to trial. Risky, but if he wins, he becomes a legend. If he loses, say goodbye for 20 years or more. Option 3, this whole thing explodes into a wider investigation. Jim is just the beginning. The feds use his arrest to pull in others, bigger names, deeper pockets, wider networks. And if that happens, this story isn't ending. It's just beginning. But there's one theory that no one's ready for. What if Chrissy isn't just reacting to the storm? What if she's controlling it? Think about it. She's always been strategic, always behind the scenes. What if she's cutting deals right now to protect herself, reposition her image, or even walk away with assets untouched? She could emerge from this untouched, while everyone else burns. And that idea alone has fans shook. Because this isn't just a story about Jim Jones anymore. It's about power, loyalty, betrayal, and survival in a game that never stops playing. And the industry is watching. Every post, every court update, every IG unfollow. This isn't just legal trouble. It's a full-blown hip-hop conspiracy unraveling in real time. So now we're left with one question. Did Jim Jones know this was coming all along? Or did someone he loved hand him over while he was still smiling in the eye? Backseat? Don't scroll past this. Don't forget this moment. Because when the next name drops, you'll realize this was never about one arrest. It was about everything hiding underneath. This is the kind of story they turn into documentaries after the dust settles. But you heard it here first. Subscribe now so you don't miss what happens when the next domino falls. Because trust me, it's coming. And when it does, the game will never be the same.